Hello, Sean Gilroy here with Lab 4. Starting off with the reverb volumes. Here we have the bank start. Bank start has a bathroom attached to it because of the texture of the walls. Bank vault here has the medium room reverb attached to it. Then the bank upper reverb has a medium room attached to it again, has a priority of 1, and then nested inside is the bank office, which has the small room reverb attached to it and a higher priority. And then going to outside, the reverb exterior, which is the street here. There is also the alley here, which has the alley reverb attached to it, but the reverb exterior has the city attached to it, so when you're outside it makes a different noise. And then there's the reverb foyer, which has the bunker hall attached to it, and that's this entire area here. Small room reverb here is this room right here, right off the main entrance. Reverb 2 is the very tiny or small room here. Reverb 3 is the room right on the right here with the radio, or the second radio. And reverb 4 is this room here with the window. Okay, and then play, so, oops. There we go. Alright, so, sorry, I turned it up. You can also hear the warning klaxon there. A lot of these reverbs sound the same. So those are the reverbs there. And then the occlusion volumes. I have occlusion volumes everywhere, but the large building has quite a few of them. So the window room here, the window room occlusion with a priority of 3, the window with a priority of 4, so it happens over the other one, with the exterior volume being at 0.75 and the LPF being at 10,000, the window room being at LPF 5,000 and an exterior of 5. And then we have the tiny room here, which has a 0.1 exterior volume. I wanted to cut off almost all of the noise here with an LPF of 1000 as soon as you're in here. And then this room here has another occlusion, so when you have the generator on, you can barely hear it. And there's another occlusion here that happens for the same reason for the generator. And then there are 2 occlusion volumes here in this room here. I wanted to make it so that since the generator is here, walking through here, you should still be able to hear it. But, and you know, the spatialization kind of takes care of it a little bit. But then these 2 volumes here in the room both reduce the volume to 0.4 and 3000 LPF. There are 2 pillar occlusion volumes as well. There's one right here, right behind the pillar, and then there's one right behind this pillar, but at an angle, so that it's not, you know, it's more realistic when you get behind the pillar this way instead of standing here. And then there's this foyer room to kind of reduce the sound of the generator as you walk out further. And yeah, there are some others in the bank as well. Alright, so I have to run to that building. You'll hear the warning klaxon again. And you'll notice the fire isn't as loud there, but we'll go back to there. Back to that through the whole playthrough. Okay, so the generator. Start with the occlusion volume so you can hear there. Volumes for the room here. Again, more pronounced because it is further away. Again, even more pronounced because of how far away it is. We'll reactivate it again. As you can see, and then once we go back here, you can still barely hear it, but it is much further away. Then we'll walk out of it. And we're going to do the...
Okay.
That. And then I did an occlusion volume here as well.
Okay.
So the noise was louder and then quieter as you left the room here with this as well. And then blueprint objects. So first we have radio sound. This is the radio. We're going to make this a little bit larger here. The radio with the trigger box around the radio. Then the radio cue, which is not that big, but again it is a radio, so it shouldn't be able to be heard from very far away. The attenuation has been set through the radio cue, which is right here. So there's an attenuation node there for radio cue. And then there is, oh, here's, I guess you can just see it like this. And then there's the blueprint for the interaction for the radio blueprint. Then the generator, a much larger attenuation radius here, because it is a generator, it's extremely loud, with the trigger volume here. The event graph for the generator, it's exactly the same as the radio. And then there's the generator cue, which has asynchronous looping, and the attenuation, it is looped for 3 times, and it is a 10-second maximum, so 30 seconds. I didn't want to do it indefinitely just because it would be obnoxious to kind of try and hear all the other noises. Oh, okay. And then the close occlusion, the reverb. There you are. So here's the first, or I guess the third radio blueprint put into the game, or level. Second radio blueprint. The first radio blueprint here in the office, and then the first generator is right outside, and then and you can see the attenuation radius as well. And then the second blueprint is in there, you can see the attenuation radius. And for these, the attenuation radius there, there, and there. Okay, and now all that's left to do is to play through the level. I'm going to take radio blueprint out so that you can see it kind of working when I interact with it. Oh, I didn't go through the sound cues. There's the AC cue. Here, just a simple loop. I think it's a 10-second AC loop. There's the attenuation node in there. Fire with the asynchronous to kind of give it that better looping sound with the mixer and the attenuation node. Outside ambience, there's quite a bit going on here. So I just did a bunch of different noises for the guns. Tank shot is a cannon sound that feeds into a modulator and a delay. The wind, so the wind is kind of hard to hear in certain places with the fire and the engine, but there is an asynchronous loop on this. And then there's the radio cue, generator cue. I don't know why these are so far out. The tank, so this is the tank idle. I didn't do an asynchronous loop here because it didn't need it. The warning klaxon noise that you hear from the thing, I don't know what the name is, but that's it. So all that's left is to play it. Sorry if that's loud.
Okay.
Occlusion for that, and then further occlusion. There's that. Some more occlusion. As you can hear, the klaxon, for some reason, has to activate so frequently. But then the further occlusion as you get down to the vault, so you can hear the generator as well. Moving down, it's quite loud. The barrels here, I wanted to make louder because they're a smaller object and there's a lot more fire noise coming from them. This is the tank running. You can hear the gunfire in the background as well. There's an occlusion volume behind this tank to reduce the noise of that tank engine. You can barely hear it. The fire I wanted to keep contained in the tank so it doesn't do it's not as loud because it is more inside the tank than on the outside. So you can hear the reverb is quite different out here than it would be in the other rooms. And then here in the alley, again, quite different. And then here in the room, we did that. We did it again though. And if I turn it up all the way, you should be able to hear the AC. I wanted to make it quiet because it generally in buildings like this, you can't really hear the AC as much. It is more of kind of like a quiet background noise. I also had to create interior and exterior switches so that the noise of the outside wouldn't penetrate into the buildings on the inside, because the gunfire kept happening and it was getting really loud. I'm going to go into the room here, and then you should be able to hear the AC as well. But again, it's more quiet. And that is it, with the exception of the blueprints. The level blueprint, this is the only blueprint that I needed, the interior and exterior, because everything else was handled in the actor blueprints. So yeah, it's just interior and exterior. This one was for the foyer, and this one is for the bank. And that's it. Thank you for watching.